Wizards of the Coast has made many lame advertisements in the past, and the future is no exception, because, behold, gather your greatness. I don't know if this is going to be the new catchphrase that we're going to be hearing for the next few years. You gotta gather your greatness, people. That's what Magic the Gathering is all about. It's not about getting together. It's about gathering your greatness. Anyway, there's a new ad. Let's see how long you can last watching it. It's a little bit hard to watch. I honestly couldn't even watch the whole thing. But I'm gonna do it for all of you. Let's go. Be prepared to gather the greatness. Uh-oh.
There are those among us who answer a higher call. Beyond the mechanical routines and mundane tasks of everyday life. For they know of another world. One of powers beyond imagining. Once you've figured out the basics. Possibilities beyond reckoning. Where total mastery awaits. This is the place where heroes rise and legends are forged. All fate rests on the epic strategy game. How you play it and who shares the journey. Magic the Gathering. Gather your greatness.
I definitely did not make it to the part where you get to see the little Wolfie underneath the table. I didn't make it that far. Do we want to watch it again? Do we want to analyze this? Do you want let's make this an analysis. We got to watch this for a second time. Gonna have the music on a little lower. Or a lot lower. Alright, we got typical person. You know what? I think the beginning is relatable. You're like a student, you don't really want to do your work, but damn it, you want to sling some spells. And then it like falls apart very quickly from here. I don't know anyone who is doing push-ups on one hand while playing the game at the same time. Never happened ever before. Is anyone else exercising playing Magic the Gathering?
Of everyday life.
This person is, what is this? Are they half finance, half artist? No big deal.
For they know of another world.
Teferi's R-Jacked? What's the best card in that trade bot? I don't know. You know, this reminds me of the preacher who said, you know, these people, they think that they have real powers. Maybe he was right. Maybe he was right. So anyway, Teferi comes here in an empty grocery store and uses his power to speed things up. Instead of just grabbing one box, he waits for the person to fill up the entire shelves with this generic Dominaria flake cereal.
Where total
I get a strong sense that, you know, this might not have been the marketer's fault. They might have had something really cool prepared, and then Wizards like, nah, we can't do that. No, scratch that out. No, that's gonna offend someone here. Nope, no, on this. And then in the end, this is what we got. She comes back with her bow to scare the poor construction workers. They're just doing their job.
This is the place where heroes rise and legends are forged.
Yes, the legends are forged over here, not at a GP or anything, or at the Mythic Championship. It's underneath a gazebo outside with a bunch of other ponies.
Magic the Gathering.
They don't even have sleeves on their cards. They don't even have sleeves on their cards. I guess they're playing it like the old Legends. The old Legends didn't have sleeves on their cards either. Hey, look at that. This is my video that's up next. Excellent. I hope Wizards sends everyone to my scandal video. Anyway, what do you guys have to say about this? No sleeves? This is fake. No, it's real. It's just if you go low enough on the ranks of Magic players, they don't play with sleeves anymore. The cringe warning was justified. Holy cringe, Batman. Did I see the new MTG color? I did not, actually. There was the some sort of article about that, but I haven't seen it yet. Where's my music? I want my music back. We need to lighten up the mood after watching that. Analysis, no, I'm trying to ignore school. So if the carpenters piss you off, you just shoot them with a bow? No, you don't exactly shoot them with a bow. You threaten them with a wolf. A magic wolf. Not gonna lie, I play Arena on the bike at the gym sometimes, but never with doing push-ups. That actually sounds good. If you were on like a sort of a treadmill, that sounds like it actually would work. Maybe I would exercise more if I knew I could play Magic the Gathering at the same time. Let me nitpick their friendly propaganda. Well, look, it's just not. It's not even that. It's just very nice stuff, you know? You can't fit everybody there. Who knows? Maybe the person who was playing was Asian. We were seeing it from their perspective. I played Moxes without sleeves. Granted, it was 1994. I know, they're trying to go back to the old ways. The old ways. Anyway. Welcome everyone, where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. And also, we do Decklist review. So, if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, submit it to us. And you better believe that myself and the coffee crew would love to give you some feedback. So, brew up your coffees, coffee crew. And let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for October 20th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, gold medals. Mareep, James, MTG Ectoplasm, Gem Mint, MTG, Ventrix, Matt Wazix, Steven, all for last. 134, good morning. Good morning, Tommy. Bearer, Casper, Terry, First Doys, good morning, Jensen, Andrew, Trevor Just. Good morning, Tommy. Bitch that just left that guy roping. Yes. Well, poor person. Well, whatever. So next time someone ropes you on Arena, maybe it's because they have a quarrel with some carpenters or some, you know, some manufacturers like on another floor. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, don't think that your person's roping you on purpose. Good morning, Zal. Travis, Nikachu, will you be going to the Magic event in Vegas? I was just looking up flights. Right before... I was just looking up flights right before the stream started, actually. And disappointingly, they're shooting up in price. Like last time, I got to get from Winnipeg to Vegas. Last time I looked, it was like $500. Now it's up $100. I got to book this thing really quick. I hate taking time and losing money on it. So I gotta book it today or I'm screwed. But the big problem is these flights are enormous. Like they're like 14-hour flights. So if I want to stay all Sunday, and I sort of do to meet people and play in events, then that means I have to like leave on Monday, because otherwise I have to leave on Sunday really early. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. Victor, remember the Nike commercials where there was a soccer player that went from being scouted to playing for the Netherlands team? They should have done one for a new F&M player all the way to the Pro Tour. You got to work on, you got to be on Wizards creative directive. You have to. Get in there. Wet Willy 1, hey Nikachu, when and where is the best place and time to buy Magic the Gathering online decks? The best place and time to buy it? What do you mean, to buy an entire... Well, you can only buy singles. So if you want to literally buy the deck... Oh, are you talking about... Oh, are you talking about our spawn? Okay, so first off, before I answer your question... Because I can answer your question. But before we answer that question, we do have sponsors. That's right. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week. Save 15% off all Magic Showcase singles. So, Ugin the Spirit Dragon... Murktide Regent, you know, Oko, where's Oko? Oko should be here somewhere. I believe that there is a showcase version, but there is a showcase version of, like, Brazen Borrower. I love it. You know, if you want the nicer, fancier art, more the full art card, now is the time you can get it. Fusion Gaming Online, 15% off. And don't forget, when you use coupon code Nikachu, you can get an additional 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online, not buying. You don't own the cards, you rent them. So any deck you want, you rent, you borrow the cards, you give them back, and then you can exchange them for more cards. You can borrow to your heart's content to play any deck in any format, any time. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. Now, I know, now to give a serious answer to this question, there's no good time to buy Magic the Gathering online decks. I mean, if there's a dip, I mean, you monitor the market, and if the market, like, if there's a big dip in the market and the prices are cheap, I guess that's the time to buy. But where can you buy? So there's like, I mean, you can buy from the bots, but there's 3 reliable places I think you can buy cards. Card Hoarder. Card Hoarder's one. They changed their... No, this, I want Card Hoarder. There we go. Here's Card Hoarder. There's a Magic the Gathering Online Traders. They all have bots online that you can find them. And the last place that I would look to buy is Goat Bots. Do they have a website? I think that, yeah, goatbots.com. Boom. Welcome to GoatBots, trading on Magic Online since 2012. I use all these resources to sell singles and sell cards. Well, that's the same thing. And also for buying singles if I need to. Although, Mana Traders now has a new system. If you're a Mana Traders member, you can sell your ticks for 95 cents each, which is very high. Usually, the bots, all the other bots, they're selling the ticks at like 82 cents or whatever the market is at the time. Then when there's high demand for the ticks, that's when they jack up the price. But Mana Traders now has a system. This is actually really worth mentioning to people. If you're a Mana Traders member, you can sell your ticks 95 US cents a tick. That's very high to have that very consistently and stable throughout the year. It's very, very high. But I hope that answered your question. Because I also go to all 3 of those when I need to actually buy singles. You need to rent your cards, you go to Mana Traders. You want to buy cards, you can't get them through Mana Traders. Still love Mana Traders. Let's see, what do we got here? You're not late. I think you're on time. Yeah, we don't forget the sponsors. I got the sponsors. I almost forgot. I'll admit, I did forget. I don't know. I have that memory these days. Jason, what decks could slide under the current meta radar? I saw an Abzan Coco toolbox deck in a Facebook group. Lots of answers. Yeah, but you need more than answers. You need a proactive game plan, because if you don't have a proactive game plan, you're screwed. So you want a deck that is under the radar. See the most under the radar deck. It used to be Eldrazi-tron. I don't feel so confident about Eldrazi-tron anymore. Like, it's a good deck. It's a good deck, but I don't think it has any particular edge to it. You know, Sodek is doing really well with Charbelcher right now. That might be under the radar at the moment. It's not a deck, but again, this is not a deck that has a lot of answers. It's just trying to proactively kill the opponent, and maybe the metagame at the moment has no answers. Seismic Swans. What? What is going on here? Oh. I got excited for a second. I thought Amulet Titan was below Merfolk. It's not. It was Titan Shift. If anyone has any suggestions for decks that are under the radar, I'm all ears. But I don't think there's anything particularly under the radar. Maybe the most under the radar deck might still be the Yawgmoth deck, very consistently winning, and not really prevalent in this top. Like how? Well, okay, it's moving up. It's moving up. But Yawgmoth used to be at the rock bottom of the metagame because like almost no one was playing it. And just one good result at a time, and Yawgmoth is now at 2.3%. So this is still actually might be underrated. Yawgmoth might belong in like the top 7 or something. So that actually might be my most accurate answer. It's it used to be very underrated, and now people are catching on, or it's getting enough results that, you know, it's at least somewhere. It's at least somewhere. Can't you drive down to Vegas? First off, I don't drive. Second off, no, you actually, maybe at the time you can. The thing is, right now, Canadians cannot drive, can't pass the border. It's really stupid. So, the Americans can drive to Canada, but Canadians cannot drive to the United States. But we can fly over. Yeah, it makes no sense either. It makes absolutely no sense. So I can fly to the United States. I'm just not allowed to drive to the United States. Anyway, I'm not driving anyway. That's ridiculous. From where I am, that would take forever. What's the Pro Tour? We don't have those anymore. Well, we do. It's just renamed under Mythic Championship. But I hope they bring back the word Pro Tour. It's just more clear. And it sounds better. Alexander Seppa says, I've gathered my greatness. Now what? Now what? Instructions unclear. Yeah, you gather your greatness. Get together with your friends. Question mark, question mark, question mark, profit. Tyler Smith says, holy crap, they need to have better advertising. How can't they afford this at least? They're just so tonically blind. You know, the deal is, their audience is going to like that ad. You know, this is the truth of the matter. Their audience is going to like this ad. 75% of, especially the casual players, which is like the majority of Magic the Gathering players, they're going to like the ad. They're going to be like, this is cool. I can't wait to bend time so they restock the shelves faster so I can buy my cereal. You know, it's actually going to appeal to people. They shouldn't have issues getting sponsorships from Red Bull, Coca-Cola, Doritos, or Domino's. That's basically the diet for typical attendees of such events. Well, they had, they didn't officially have any sponsor with Red Bull, but Red Bull did put on a few tournaments. They sponsored some events. So Red Bull has worked with Magic the Gathering as a brand, but not the other ones. If you can tell me how Mana Traders sells cards, I'd love to hear it. But as far as I know, they don't. They used to sell cards. I don't think they sell cards anymore. I mean, I'm sure they sell cards, but when they want to sell them, it's not like you can just go up and buy them. Mikey J, haven't asked in a while, but what is the most important resource in Modern right now? Cards, mana, or time? It might be cards. Card advantage might be king. A lot of these decks, not burn, but a lot of these decks are... It's going to be a mix of card advantage and tempo for sure, but a lot of these are just such... This is a huge value deck. This is a huge value deck. Murktide Regent is relatively value. Jund is all value. Crushing Footfalls is a value deck. Azorius Control now is pretty value heavy. Not burn or hammer time, though. It's a lot of value. It's a lot of value. It's a good question. I don't have a good answer right now. Do you need to get COVID testing before entering and leaving Canada? Yes, that is correct. So I need to take a COVID test before I leave for Vegas, and then I need to take a COVID test before I go back to Canada. Yep. Profit playing MTG, shouldn't it be slow the bleed after the question marks? What? I don't get it. Their audience is gonna like that ad. I don't know about that. Well, we're not their target audience. Remember, the majority of Magic players, they're not even modern players. They're Commander players. They're kitchen tabletop players. They're even a breed lower than the Commander players. The Commander players are like one version of casual players, and then there's this breed below that, which they just play like 60 card anything. It's not even Commander. They're still playing with their unsleeved Black Lotuses and Moxes. Moxen. Mark Davis, people acting like they don't remember the old Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG commercials. That was identical in style. You know what? But those were marketed towards children. Today, we are not children. Now we are middle-aged adults. We're between the ages of like 35 and 45. So it's very, very different. Like, this is... you know what? I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here. Because every so often people say, this is a children's card game. No, it isn't. Magic the Gathering is not a children's card game. It is a middle-aged person's game. Just like basically almost everyone in that commercial. They did get a little bit of the younger demographic, the university demographic, but then they had people who are like in their 30s. It's, this is not, kids can't afford this game. This game is not marketed or priced for children. It is made for adults. This is an adult game. And I hate it when, people try to defend some of the actions of Magic the Gathering, how it's evolving, because it's a children's card game. No, it's not. Like, yeah, the packaging might say for ages 13 and up, which at 13, you're not even a child legally as a child anymore. Isn't it like 12 and younger? But even that aside, young people do not play this game. Only old, or I should say, some younger people do play the game, but at a very casual level with all random cards they have, and then when they are old enough to get enough money, then they really start getting into this game. But this is dominantly an adult game. Dominantly. That's the target market here. Soon Magic the Gathering will be played more than Bridge at the senior homes. This is possible. I mean, so it's possible that still that younger people are getting into the game at the ages of 20, which I think is fine. But if they aren't, if our group keeps getting older and older and older, I mean, eventually the game, in theory, could die. We need younger people to get into it, but they're not creating the game for younger people. They're not really marketing it for younger people. They're not pricing anything for younger people. None of the events are for younger people. It's just for people with money, and you have money when you're old enough to have a good job, and that's that. Bring back the MTG Kids ad from the early 2000s. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we don't see those kids in the ads anymore now, do we? Now do we? What's a good way to deal with that darned Omnath deck? I think you have to race it. You mean the Elementals deck? I think you have to race it, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know how to beat it just myself, so I don't know what its weaknesses are. It's not taking over the metagame. I really don't know what you're supposed to do for this damn thing. It's a great deck. Alexander says, I'm a child, 17. It can confirm, still cringe. These kids these days do floss dance more often than playing things we do. Benthic Biomancer, Wizard Class, and Thassa's Oracle could be some Troll Tuesday combo in Merfolk. Well, we stopped the Troll Tuesday, but potentially. I think it's a little too jank to make work, but it's possible. I haven't had a test in a while. Vaccinated with no symptoms. Is it still straight up to nostril? I don't know. I haven't taken the test yet. I need to take the test 72 hours before my departure. And I hope it's negative, because then I'm gonna get like cancellation insurance for all my flights. But if yeah, I need, because I'd be screwed if I ended up being positive. Regarding the MTG advertising, I'm surprised it wasn't a Commander one or something, since that's Wizards of the Coast current Gilded Goose. What's the difference? Like, you can't tell. I mean, you can sort of tell with a big giant stack of cards, but I don't think it's that important. They're just playing generic Magic the Gathering. Wit says, I know you're mostly into Modern, and so am I, but have you tried Standard lately? It's the first time in a long time that I'm actually enjoying it. I have not tried Standard. And hey, Standard can be great. I have nothing against Standard, really. But the problem I have with Standard is, if I sink any time into it, it just dies when they rotate. So the decks die, and then all my experience against certain archetypes die, because the archetypes are going to shift by quite a bit. And as like a content creator that I have to juggle my time with everything, I just prefer to focus on Modern and a little bit of Historic, because the formats don't change too much. Well, Historic, I guess, changes quite a bit. Travis says, the ad is selling the fantasy of slinging spells and playing with friends. Seems effective to me. Heck, the cringe will make people share it more, which is even better. Hey, it's true. Maybe this was a great giant marketing stunt, and now I'm sharing this cringy advertisement all over the place. Now it's seeing more people than they originally even thought. Keith, my mono black deck has 6 fetch, no shocks, 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Inquisition. Is this too much pain? Should I make it 4 Inquisition, 2 Thoughtseize instead? I've gifted Aetherborn for life to gain life. If you're a really aggro deck, if you can deal a lot of, or not, maybe not aggro, if you can deal giant chunks of damage to close the game out really quickly, then I think it's fine. You know, who cares how much damage you take if you're killing your opponent first? If you can't do that, you should be more conscious about your life. Like, as a Merfolk player, I don't want to take too much damage because I'm not really a very aggressive deck. I'm dealing tiny chunks of damage over a long period of the game, so I want to keep my life total as high as possible. Whereas you take something like Murktide, like a Murktide deck, for example, they can deal they don't mind fetching, shocking. They can deal enormous chunks of damage to compensate for it. So it depends how much you're going to compensate for the damage that you take. First Doys, if they supported Pauper, it might give any younger players a competitive format they could afford. But how do they make money off of Pauper? They got to be careful what they support. They want to support things that make them money. This is like, and they do support Pauper. Like, they're not ignoring Pauper. They don't like actively go out. They actually support it a lot. They downgrade tons of uncommons to common. They have the Pauper challenge. They actually support Pauper quite a bit. It's an official format. It's got a banned list. How's the matchup for Burn against Elementals? It's probably terrible. It's probably pretty bad. I don't know for sure, but I assume it's pretty bad. Like, Solitude is bad because it is lifelink, and also it can exile creatures, so the earlier sources of damage don't do that much. And also, Omnath is basically impossible to beat. If Omnath, like, pulls off one life gain trigger, it's over. It's all over. That land enters the battlefield, you're dead. Must be why they are bringing in Fortnite Secret Lair set, bringing in the young fellas. I mean, maybe there is some crossover there. Elementals are weak to combo / non-interactive. Okay, that makes sense to me. I mean, that makes sense to me. Which might be good for Elementals because there's not that much combo. I mean, unless you can count like Hammer Time as something like a combo. Walter Vinci, gather your greatness. Green Mage attacks Carpenters. Teferi gets cereal. Burn toasts marshmallows. The Weird Kid, Emrakul. Everyone around them goes mad. Dr. Glassbottle, with your brother, will your brother attend Vegas with you, or with you? Also, have you thought about what you'll do if you get paired with the prof? Well, we're gonna have a Merfolk mirror. My brother will not attend Vegas. He will not. Only me. Well, when I'm really looking, like the professor, He made some announcement that if anyone wins GP Vegas with Merfolk, he'll give them a first-class flight over to his studio to make a video. I mean, he's basically talking to me, because who else is going to bring Merfolk? Well, I mean, it's not the first time first of all, I never won a GP with Merfolk, but Merfolk has won these large events before. So maybe someone else will take up the challenge. Receipt for elementals. Play Torpor Orb and protect it. Yes, but the protecting part is very difficult. Tyler Smith asks, them doing these pop culture secret lairs and simultaneously marketing towards adults and children, they want to cast the bigger net, both sides poke holes in it. I mean, this could be the beginning. But it doesn't matter, because children are broke. They have no money. They got nothing. So unless, like, you know, imagine going to your parents and asking them, I want a Magic the Gathering deck for Modern. And then they're like, okay, how much does it cost? $1,000. The adult will say, maybe you want something else. You want a video game? You want me to get you a new video game for like 70 or 80 bucks? How about that? It's expensive. Not to mention, you know, you need to, what if you want a new deck 3 months later? Let's say the adult says, okay, I'll get you this Modern deck for $1,000. And then 3 months later, the kid is like, I don't want to play this deck anymore. I want to play this other deck. My deck got banned, by the way. The cards are worthless now. I want a new deck for $1,000. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. Oops, read that already. Standard needs a new mono blue shitters deck. You know, they try not to let that happen. They try to mix up the archetypes. They'll be like, oh, this archetype already existed like 2 years ago. It's too soon. Nikachu, where do you get your swag? How are you always do so suave? What? What do you mean my swag? You mean my, like, my merchandise? If you look up Teespring Nikachu MTG, it's here. Or unless you're talking about my, are you talking about how I carry myself? Like how I conduct myself? I look so. I usually am not called suave. How am I usually referred to as? Charismatic. That's how they do. That's how I'm referred to. But I don't know. It's all natural. It's all natural. I was born this way. Travis C. Nikachu, would you play Subtlety and Merfolk as a tempo play versus Elementals to keep their stuff off the board and keep them from playing Fury to board wipe? I've had success with it. No, I wouldn't play that card. I don't even think it would work. Let's say they exile Solitude for 2 cards, and then you play Subtlety instead. Well, I'm screwed because they can just replay Solitude again, and it was really and it became a 3 for 2 instead of a 2 for 1. The ratio actually is better for them. The more they grind us out of cards, the better, because they will bury us in card advantage. So I don't want a 2 for 1 myself versus that deck. Antonio asks, any advice on keeping my cube organized? Is it best to just sleeve up all the lands and have all the players sort out the lands after playing? Then what's the best way to make random packs? I don't understand how this is complicated. So, I mean, okay, you have your cube, right? All the cards. And you just keep it as the big chunk of cards. Is it best to sleeve up all the lands? Yes, have all the lands sleeved up. So what you do is you have your entire cube sleeved up, but then you have the lands sleeved up. You have as many lands as you think is necessary. I don't remember what's a good number. Maybe 30 of every land. Maybe less than that. I don't know. But you have enough lands for basically everyone in your cube. You should have all those sleeved up, everything ready to go. You don't want to be sleeving and unsleeving that stuff every single night. That's annoying. So you just re-sleeve everything or unsleeve everything when you want to change the sleeves. And then when making you just shuffle, you basically take everyone at the table and people just start shuffling cards. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. They grab random chunks, shuffle it, grab random chunks, and then at some point you guys just agree, all right, we have enough cards shuffled. Let's start making packs, and you make packs of 15. As simple as that. You make random packs. You just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. That's a pack. And then you just make packs and stack them on top of each other. Hence making the cube. Aztec Guy, did you see the Oops All Lords deck on the Merfolk Facebook page? It was hilarious to see play. Oh, you mean the thing by Marin? I didn't see it on the Facebook page, but I saw Marin made a post about it. I saw the video, actually. Oops All Lords. It's not the first time she did this. She revisits some of her best ideas every so often. The only way kids get into Magic these days is if their parents introduce them to it, and if the parents are interested themselves. So if the parents, like, they want it, it works out that way. Like, let's say you as a parent, you want to go to the local game store on Friday night. Hey, kid, you want to come with me? You want to learn about Magic? We can go together. Georges, we have no choice but to market to children. How can we get new players otherwise? Well, you could technically introduce it to I am hearing a little bit more often people are exposed to this game as a teenager, but they can't really afford the good stuff, and then when they get old enough, then they buy into the good stuff. So I guess you introduce it to kids, and they're not really big into the game at that time, but they're exposed. But that's not their primary market for who's buying the cards, because it's only until they get older that they can buy a lot of boxes, buy singles and stuff like that, get more invested in the game. Kids have no money, but they have 2 healthy kidneys. They do, but why? That would be so bad to sell your kidney for a deck that got banned. It'd be terrible. What do we got here? Wait, Nikachu has merch? Yes, I have merch. I do have merch. I'm going to change it soon. I should have changed it a long time ago, because I want to change my logo everywhere. I might have to get more of these shirts. I don't have many. I don't actually have many of my own shirts. Or I do, but I don't have many gray ones, and I like the gray one better than the black, because the black one just gets filled with cat hair. Look, see, I took the black away because the black... It got just covered in cat hair. I didn't even think it looked... It wasn't a good black anyway. The white is fine. White is okay. Hold on, is the white... The logo's on the back? No, it's not. They just got this order mixed up. It's all good. But the greatest is the mug! I like the mug. It's 2 sides. Or at least that's how... My mugs are not like this. I only have one-sided mugs, but I found out that I can actually have the logo on both sides. You got like morning and evening. Which Merfolk build is best for Vegas? I don't know. I'm gonna probably continue to play the same build I'm playing right now. Not many changes. But as we get closer to Vegas, there might be changes, especially since really competitive players are going to start grinding online, and then I'm going to have to really gear my deck to beat things like Murktide and Crashing Footfalls and stuff like that. We'll find a way. We will find a way. It's the hair maintenance program that gives him his confidence, yes. Hey, I could say I'm definitely a little bit more confident with more hair on my head. Selector of Souls. Personally, I'd say shuffle the commons, uncommons, and rares separately. Then it's easier to make a pack out of them. I guess if you want to be super official about it, sure. This is actually an interesting take. Oh, whoops, I missed... Whatever, I lost... Oh, here it is. I never heard anyone do that before. But then that also means that your cube needs to have an even number of commons, uncommons, and rares. I don't know how many people do that. In fact, now that I think of it, I don't think people pay attention to this at all. Passionate Passion Fruit, do you think we'll ever see the return of Boomer Jund / Shadow decks that don't use Luris? We could definitely see the return of Shadow decks. I don't think we're going to see the return of Jund. I think Jund is gone. If they ban Luris, maybe, but I doubt it. Jund is just slow and clunky and whatever. Do you see Pleasant Konami play Boomer Jund list from 2012? I didn't. I saw the thumbnail though. I'm like, I don't need to see how an old deck that was barely hanging on operates today. But the game can't be marketed to under 13. You have to be careful not to present it as something appealing to younger kids. I guess that's true, but they can still market it to the 13-year-olds. Well, I mean, I'm like, hey, look, I'm not the one who ever said that this game was for children. I'm not that person. I'm saying it's for adults. This is an adult game. This is the big kid game. Big, so big that you're like 35 years old. Why is your logo a bunny instead of a merfolk? It's sort of some branding that I carried from what's it called? From poker. Also, I thought it was like a little bit weird to just go all in on some sort of merfolk logo. That seemed like a little bit too much. It didn't feel like I could branch off into anything else if I did that. Gold medals. Parents spend hundreds on video games. I'm sure they'll spend $50 on a budget deck. Yeah, but like, hey, if you're involved in this game, you don't want to play completely on a budget. Shuck Creations started playing as a teenager during Tempest Block with random cards we bought at the game store. Good times. It was good times. Back then it was a different thing. And back then there were more teenagers. Like when I went to a tournament, it was full of teenagers. You know, there were some old people. Some. But not a lot. Only some old people. Adrian, I have a friend who started playing at, when he was 6 years old. His dad took him to play at F&M's. Now he's very good. A pain in my ass and limited. That may be a prodigy on the way. How about make Dragon Shield with your logo? That would be nice merch. It would be, so long as it's not too much of a hassle to create. To be honest, merch is like the lowest priority for me when it comes to like my income sources, because you got to ask yourself, maybe the Dragon Shields are a little bit better because, you know, you're always buying sleeves, but like, how many cups can you buy? Like basically one or two. How many shirts can you buy? You know, after you buy one, that's it. Like, I can't expect you to buy more, and I don't really feel like making new design. And you know how much money I make off of this? Like almost nothing. I think I make like $1 off of the cup. I make like $1.50 off of the shirt. Very, very little. Like almost all the money goes to Teespring. I just have it out there for anyone that wants it. It's very, very low profit margin stuff. What percentage of players at GP are cheating? It's a very good question. A lot. But like, okay, see, like I'm gonna repeat this again. I think there are a lot of cheaters in Magic, but it's always the worst players. So if you, after round 3, if you went to the 0-3 bracket, you'd be looking at a lot of cheaters over there. I think that the majority of people who cheat are the people who don't know the rules very well, and they're very bad at this game. They're looking at the deck. They're mana weaving like crazy. There's actually a lot of mana weavers now. Now it's clear in my mind based on the comment section that people are mana weaving like crazy. They're always mana weaving. So my initial shuffle now is going to be so much. I'm going to be shuffling my opponent's deck a lot, like 10 times before the match starts, because I'm absolutely not trusting anyone anymore. That is so crazy how many people are mana weaving. It is not okay. You don't realize how much you really have to shuffle after you've mana weaved. But anyway, like, but all the other crappy stuff, all the other cheating techniques, like looking at your opponent's deck while you're shuffling, and you know, whatever crap you do, it's all done by bad players. So they're gonna lose anyway. It's not something I'm concerned about. I'm not worried about it. The only thing I'm worried about is basically the mana weaving. But we have control over that. We have control over that, right? Because they have to present their deck to us. We shuffle it, and that's never a problem. So That is my take. Sithrone with the super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, Sithrone. Why is Liliana the Veil still a $90 card when it sucks in Modern? That is a very good question. Partially price memory. Let's go to our most unreliable site for graphs, MTG Stocks. Look up Liliana of the Veil. Partially price memory. There might be... this is also a very iconic card. But it's probably pretty terrible in Commander, too. I mean, I guess every player discards the card, but the Edict is pretty terrible. This is not a very good card in Commander. I think there are a lot better Lilianas in Commander. I tell you what, if Jund continues on its trajectory where it is right now, where no one plays the Boomer version anymore, you gotta play with the Ragavan Luris version, Liliana's gonna fall. When the Jund Boomers come to their senses, they'll dump their Lilianas. They will do it. Casper Soul. Cheaters are opportunists. They know the rules and interactions, so when your opponent misplays, they recognize and exploit the player's ignorance to gain advantage. Not all cheaters are opportunists. That's all I'll say. I would say I'm still not particularly worried about better players cheating me. Good players, for the most part, they're not trying to get their edges through cheating. Yeah, it happens. It's a deadly combination if you're good at Magic and you're a cheater, but usually it's not the case. Just like people who cheat in video games, they are trying to make up for how bad they know they are. Exactly. Well, they may not know how bad they are. They just know that they're losing. And they're like, hey, I have a great idea to get an advantage here and there. You know what time it is? It's Decklist review time. Yeah, let's go do some Decklist review. All right, you want your Decklist reviewed? Go into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord. Go to the channel Decklist Review and enter the command review deck space, give the URL to your deck list, and you'll be eligible at random for Decklist Review. As people are submitting their deck lists, I'll answer some more questions. Just a heads up, you can always take the option $25 USD to paypal.me/Nikachu MTG, and you will be guaranteed a deck list review, and I'll play a match with your deck for extra review. If you see your opponent mana weaving, is it legal unmana weave their deck by separating their deck into 3 face down piles and handing? That's not gonna work though. Mana weavers, like I've seen the what's it called, MTG degree, how to catch mana weavers. It's garbage. That's not how mana weaving works. They're gonna mana weave, they're gonna shuffle their deck a few times, then they're gonna present it back to you, and it's like semi-shuffled but not shuffled enough. So like they're still gonna have like a pretty good distribution. It's not perfectly mana weaved. So they're still getting the cheating, and if you separate everything down in 3 face down piles, it's not gonna change all that much. So you, as far as I know, you can do that. You can put things down into 3 face down piles. You can like pile shuffle a deck. Or can you? You know what? That's a good question, because the rules around pile shuffling changed. You can only pile shuffle once per match, and I don't know how that works when it comes to your opponent's deck. It's a good question. I don't know if you're allowed to do that anymore. I don't think it works. I don't think it works. I think you're just going to be separating into 3 piles. But anyway, check with the judge if you want to pile shuffle their deck. Because my biggest problem with the mana weavers is, let's say you mana weave and you shuffle, say, 5 or 6 times, which might seem like quite a bit, but after you've mana weaved your deck perfectly, it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. Tommy says, from my understanding, if you unmana weave their deck, you need to be confident of such and also not look at any cards while doing it in a deliberate undoing manner. But the thing is, if they shuffled afterwards, I don't think your unmana weaving tactics are going to be effective enough. And also, you're wasting time. What if they weren't mana weaving at all? Because I am suspecting now, like 60 to 70% of my opponents mana weave before my match. I am now hardcore suspecting mana weaving from here on out. I thought it was, I knew it was a common cheat, but now I think it's insanely common. Like, greater than 50% of my opponents are probably mana weaving. Oh, what is this about? Let's say you notice all lands are upside down. You are not allowed to separate them. Just call a judge. You mean if boxed cards, like some cards are reversed? Yeah, I would just snap call a judge. Try it. They'll mulligan. Or their deck was actually just shuffled. I think you're overstating mana weaving. No, I am understating mana weaving. I am grossly... Look, if you mana weave, your odds of mulliganing go way down. Your odds of flooding out go way down. Your odds of getting stuck on mana go way down. You have this huge advantage. Imagine getting to play a game of Magic, but you get no non-games. Mulliganing to 5 is almost a death sentence in this game, and if you dodge that every single time, that's a big edge. It's a really big edge. People are terrified. I've heard so many people who are terrified of clumps. Clumps need to happen. If you do not see clumps, you're cheating. You're cheating. It's simple as that. It's crazy, the comments that I was getting. I learned so much from this. This is actually a big, serious issue. And they should just ban mana weaving, period. It's within Wizards rules that says you can mana weave so long as you shuffle enough afterwards. No, you should not mana weave, period. You should not be allowed to mana weave. You should not be mana weaving, period. And they got to drill that into people's heads. This is the wrong behavior that we want to create, unless we're allowed to mana weave, period. It's definitely the most prevalent form of cheating. Exactly. I didn't even know I was cheating until you told us about mana weaving. That's the thing. That's the thing. I know most people didn't know. I don't see clumps when I play Manaless Dredge. Yeah, they mana weave before they show up to the match. So the match is done, and then they take all their land. I don't know how they do it, but then they take a loose idea and just separate all the lands in the deck. They take all the clumps and they disperse them throughout the deck. That's terrible. Because now you have a rough idea what the order of the deck is. Remember, you're not allowed to know any particular placement of any cards within the deck. You're not allowed to know the order at all. And if you know that the cards are somewhat separated between lands and spells, well, now you know the order. When is Nikachu's Decklist Review Vegas Edition? I don't know what the difference would be. What the hell is mana weaving? When you purposefully separate the lands and spells so that they're as equal as possible, like one land per two spells. But even after you mana weave, you can shuffle it a few times, and things will be a little bit more, shuffled up, but still you'll get the edge that the lands and the spells are somewhat equally dispersed throughout your deck. MTG is a game which straight doesn't work 30% of the time because of flood and screw, and we still play it? Yes, that's correct. That is correct. ZG, is it considered weaving when after game 1 you distribute the lands you had in play randomly into your deck? Well, what is randomly? So what I do now is I take it and I might give it, I won't put it all in one, if I had a pile of 15 lands in my hand, it's not like I'll put the whole 15 chunk, but I'll just shove it in somewhere in the deck and then start shuffling it up a little bit afterwards. But it won't be like, I won't perfectly distribute them throughout the entire deck, because that would be considered mana weaving. I could consider it mana weaving. I'll just take the cards. Really, remember, you're supposed to shuffle thoroughly. So if you shuffle enough, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter where you put the cards. So if I take the card and I shove all my lands in the bottom fourth of my deck, if I shuffle enough, it doesn't matter anymore. It will be everywhere. Or it's supposed to be random. It's supposed to be random. So you never adjust your deck even at home, then begin to shuffle? I'm not even talking about weaving. You just keep the deck the same from the end of the game to the next? Yeah. The only time that I'll ever have my deck in any order is when I'm making my deck list. That I make sure I have 4 of every single card in my deck. Maybe I want to guarantee that I have the cards in my deck. So I've got all the Lord of Atlantis, old Master of the Pearl Tridents paired up and everything like that. And after that, I just take the whole mess and then I just start shuffling it. I don't put it in any particular order. Yes, when I'm done for the night. I didn't know this was a thing! People go home and then they mana weave their deck. I had no idea. When the night is done, I put my deck in the deck box, and then that's it. And it's in the same spot as it is the next time I go to a tournament. I didn't know this was a thing. This is crazy. I call BS that even after a tourney at home, you just keep your deck in the same pile from the end of your last game. Well, I mean, I'm like a pretty seasoned player at this point, so I don't need... I could imagine when I first started playing this game and I loved the deck for the first time that I always wanted to look at all the cards and put them into piles and stuff like that, but I'm so far beyond that at this point. Like, I just don't care. I literally keep the deck the same. My Commander deck is exactly in the state that it was. I played Commander on my birthday, and the deck is in the exact same state that it was when I left the place. Why do I need to move the cards? Why do I need to mana weave? Like, what's the point of this? How is that different than mana weaving if you shuffle enough afterwards? The problem is you probably aren't shuffling enough. If you mana weave, one of two... Okay, let's say if I don't mana weave, I am not cheating. If you do mana weave, one of two things are going to happen. Either you don't shuffle enough and you're cheating, or you shuffle enough and you're not. So, but the problem is you now put yourself in a situation where you might be getting an advantage over your opponent. If your technique isn't good enough, if you do not shuffle enough, because you are putting your deck at an advantage, you're really putting your deck in a state where, like the worst possible point possible. You know the order of the deck, and everything is equally distributed throughout the deck. It is the worst possible point you could shuffle from. If the deck had clumps all over the place, that would be a better point to shuffle from. When I take my deck apart, it seems to take forever to get it nice and shuffled again. Well, that's because we gotta shuffle it a lot. You gotta shuffle it a lot. Yeah, exactly. I de-sideboard and just put it in the box. So this, I mean, I am gonna make I'm gonna make another video. I mulligan regularly, but, well, look, I'm telling you people, mana weaving is cheating. And you can never know when you can never know. How do I put it? I'm going to reiterate, it is in the rules that you're allowed to mana weave so long as you shuffle enough afterwards. But you are putting yourself in a situation where you might not be shuffling enough afterwards. And you're getting edges in games you didn't think you were. And I know this is the most common form of cheating. And it just so happens through my shuffling video that this problem is way worse than I thought it was. I thought, like, mana weavers were like 15%. Now I realize it's over 50. It's way over 50. People are just... The mana weaving is insane. So whenever I go to a match and someone's shuffling like 3 or 4 times, it's not enough. I'm going to shuffle it like 6, 10 times or something. I'm now going to like thoroughly shuffle my opponent's decks before the game starts. Because I now have to assume everyone's a fucking mana weaver. It's just it's the world we live in right now. And it's, I don't know, and it's based on... I'm gonna just put it this way. You gotta ask yourself why. Why are you mana weaving? And if it's for reasons like I don't like clumps, I think it helps me, my games are smoother, then you're cheating. It's all in the why. If your why is, well, I don't know any other better way to, like, stuff the lands in my deck, maybe that's more of an acceptable answer. If you think you're getting any advantage out of it, or you're trying to... If you're trying to determine the fate of the order of the cards, your reason is because you're cheating. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Ask yourself, why are you mana weaving? Some people a little OC... Now, okay, I'm going to talk about this in another video. What was his name who got banned for mana weaving? Who is the pro? Fabrizio Antiri. Now, some people might say that you're a little OCD and you really want to... You can't help but distribute the lands throughout your entire deck. Well, guess what? A pro player got banned for doing this. My name is Fabrizio Anteri. I cheated at Magic, and this is the story of it. And what this is going to boil down to is that he was OCD about the cards, and he mana weaved, and the pros knew about it, and they caught him, and he got banned for it. This is serious. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And if you don't have a good answer for why, then you shouldn't be doing it, period. Just shuffle the deck. If you claim you shuffle the deck properly, then don't mana weave in the first place. Because I'm going to make a much more thorough video about this. I'm going to make a more... well, I mean, I gave the bulk of it to you guys right now. But that's what it comes down to. Don't do it. You may not be shuffling nearly as much as you think you are. Oh my god, imagine if MTG was one of the Squid Games. Yeah, Nikachu, mana weaving is cheating. Actually, a lot of people told me that. Yeah, when people got into the game, people encouraged mana weaving. They would say, hey, this is how you don't get, like, mana screwed. But, anyway. Mana weave and MTG the podcast. Alright. Aren't we in Decklist review? We got the command up and everything. Alright, let's get into Decklist review. Hope you enjoyed the rant. Ask yourself your why, people. Why are you mana weaving? Make sure it's a noble reason. There is no reason. I don't mana weave at all. Okay, Gran. Congratulations, Gran. You are the next contestant on Decklist review. Domain. Alright, we got a domain deck. We got Gigantha, Noble Hierarch, Territorial Kavu, Voice of Resurgence, General First Recaric, Mantis Rider, Shardless Agent, Bloodbraid Elf, Sign of Draco, Lightning Helix, Metamorphose, Tribal Flames. I think you have a decent mana base here. Path Exile, Cinder Vines, Lavinia Azorius Renegade, Rest in Peace, Weather the Storm, and Leyline of Sanctity. Okay, so, just a note. Oh, wait a minute. You have nothing to do on turn 1? You need to do something on turn 1 or you're screwed. We got to okay, so here's the problem I have with your deck. You have nothing to do on turn 1. You should have like Lightning Bolt, Prismatic Ending or something. You have like Noble Hierarch and that's it. That can be a problem because you're going to be way too slow on the draw to even do anything against your opponents. I could suggest cutting the Scion of Draco. And that's only because I saw another list that took it out. Like, it looks cool, looks like a domain card, but it seems like this is like the clunky part of the deck that doesn't work. And to be honest, it doesn't have synergy with like General First, right? For the most part. I mean, yeah, it like boosts their stats depending on the color that they have. But it's really not that necessary. Honestly, I would go like Bolt. I think Bolt, instead of Scion of Draco, maybe 4 Bolt would be good, and maybe we find some room for 2 more Noble Hierarchs. Maybe get rid of some Lightning Helix, add the Metamorphose. You do need to play more at a lower curve. If you don't, you're dead. Next up, the bargain likes... I mean, Lightning Helix is a good card. But you have a lot of multicolor stuff anyway to trigger General First Recoric anyway. like Mantis Rider. I don't mind them. I don't mind Mantis Rider at all. Turn 1 fetch for... Oh, I mean, that is an option, but we try not to take that option if we can. And I think Bolt works through the deck very well because of Tribal Flames, and it might be a better replacement for Lightning Helix. Although I can see, like, some value out of Lightning. But the thing is, like, we need to play more at turn 1. If we don't play at turn 1, we're screwed. 17 fetch land Kavu. We also have a lot of lands in this deck. Maybe we can shave a land. Actually, we definitely should shave a land. Oh, because you have Noble Hierarch. Oh, so that's where we find the Noble Hierarchs. You just take out 2 lands. Have 21 lands for Noble Hierarch and you'll totally be fine. I think that would work out. So we actually can take out less cards. So, keep the Lightning Helix and the Manamorphose as you want. I would take out the... Honestly, I'd take out the Dracos. I know this might feel sort of crappy because this is like one of the reasons why you build a deck around this, but I think you're better off building the deck around General First Recurric and Territorial Kavu than anything else. So I would take out 2 more lands. Not sure which 2. Add 2 more Noble Hierarch. What is Guttural Response on the sideboard for? I mean, it's a card. Oops. Is it Gutter Response? No. Oh, it's got Tarl. Or not. There we go. There we go. Counter target blue instant spell. Do we need this? Well, Nikachu's still any good for turn 1? It's not bad. You know what? It's not bad. It's not terrible. You know, I might have seen something with turn 1 Wild Nikachu. Or maybe we should have less Sign of Dracos. Spell costs 2 less cast for each basic land type among the lands you control. It's a 4/4 flyer. It's not bad, but it can be clunky. It's not like you can Shardless Agent into this thing. I don't mind the Bloodbraid Elf. I think this is good. Bloodbraid Elf into Shardless Agent. That's really sweet. Especially if you have like a General First on the battlefield. But this is what I would do. I wouldn't make huge changes. Definitely get more things to do on turn 1. And then I would replace this with Bolt. Or you could play, I guess, Path to Exile. Or maybe also Prismatic Ending. Try out which one's the best one. But given that you're sort of an aggro deck, I think Bolt is quite reliable. What about the 2-drop that also makes Bros on multicolored spells? That's General Furus? I don't know what else you're talking about. I don't know of any decks that play Bloodbraid Elf and Shardless Agent. Well, here we go. Maybe we got to make our own. We got to make our own. Someone's got to do it. And Reap says prefers Veil of Summer over Guttural Response. True story, true story. Anyway, that's all I'd change. Good luck with the list. We have a Legacy Burn deck by Saffron Olive. This was submitted by Alternative. All right, Alternative. So here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is this deck is really cheap to make. The bad news is that Burn sucks balls in Legacy, and there's nothing you can do about it. You are completely at the whim of your opponent. I guess you have access... Well, yeah, you don't really have access to much here. You have Swift Spear, Eidolon, Chain Lightning, Lava Spike. Like, you get raced by so many things. Fire Blast. What is this? Sonic Burst. An additional cost to play Sonic Burst. Discard a card at random. Deals 4 damage to target creature or player. This card's not even good. That's an additional cost? That's terrible. I would just play Skullcrack. Get Sulfuric Vortex. You know what? Okay, so I would take out the Sonic Burst and play another Skullcrack. I don't know how useful that is, though. Wait, we're updating Saffron all. It might be a budget brew. Because it's like, it's pretty cheap. Splash blue and add Force of Will. It makes me wonder what if we have like red elemental blast in the main. Pyroclasm, pyrostatic pillar. Whenever a player plays a spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, the pillar deals 2 damage to that player. Searing blood, smash to smithereens. Like there's not a lot of you can do to improve this deck. You know what might be worth it? What if they played more creatures? I don't know if that'd be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, there are some decks this is gonna kick ass. Like maybe if you're paired up against lands and they can't gain any life, you'll kill them. I don't think adding fetches is that great of an idea. How would you improve it, Magus? How much is price of progress? A few dollars, apparently. Sunbake, I don't think it's that easy in Legacy. Have you ever played against Wasteland before? It's gonna be a lot harder to Fire Blast your opponent when your lands are wastelanded. I think there is a... I mean, maybe you can do it, but it's not so clear to me that like turning some of the mountains into Sunbake Canyons is the way to go. Submitted in 2017. This person was super well ahead of the time for Decklist review. Well, this was submitted by Saffron Olive like 4 years ago. Blood Moon's actually not a bad choice. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I like the idea of Blood Moon. But where do you put it? In the sideboard? Or is that good? I guess you can play Blood Moon and Price of Progress. They both work. You gotta be careful with these non-basics. Have you heard of Wasteland? It's a beating. And it will slow you down a lot. Because we actually have a lot of 2-mana spells in this deck. Like a lot. And Fire Blast requires 2 mountains to sacrifice. And if you have Sunbake Canyon out, you're not going to do that. Have you ever had 2 Fire Blasts stuck in your hand? Keep in mind, every non-basic you put in the deck, Fire Blast gets really bad really fast. Fire Blast says you may sacrifice 2 mountains instead of paying Fire Blast casting cost. Fire Blast deals 4 damage to target creature or player. Why is Price of Progress a sideboard card? This will deal more damage than anything else for 2 mana. Just look up a current burn list, but they all sort of lose anyway. Light up the stage might be okay. Spicy Tech run Wheel of Misfortune. It's as good as fact or fiction here. It's a new card. Each player secretly chooses a number 0 or greater. Then all players reveal those numbers simultaneously and determine the highest and lowest numbers revealed this way. Wheel of Misfortune deals damage equal to the highest number to each player who chose that number. Each player who didn't choose the lowest number discards their hand and draws 7 cards. I don't get how this thing works. So let's say I choose 10, my opponent chooses 0. Then all players reveal those numbers simultaneously. Okay, I have 10. And determine the highest and lowest. Wheel of Misfortune deals damage equal to the highest number to each player who chose that number. Okay, I chose 10, so I take 10 damage. Each player who didn't choose the lowest number discards their hand. Then, oh, I see. So I pay. I could even say 5. I could say 6, and then my opponent has to choose something less, and you get to draw 7 cards. That is interesting. Wheel of Misfortune. This might be a sideboard card, like in a matchup where you have to grind or something. But you gotta be... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say no to this, and I'll tell you why. It's because Legacy can be too fast for this. Legacy can be way too fast. Like, I don't have really good advice because Legacy is sort of like a deck. Here, okay, the last time I played a Legacy GP in Vegas, the most common deck was Burn. Because it was like the most affordable to get into. But that deck got slaughtered after the first 3 rounds. Like, it's just not a good deck. I understand it's the budget deck in Legacy, but it's really just not a good deck. And I have no idea how to make it actually good. Like, I have nothing against how this deck is built. The red cycle land as a 1-of? Oh, really? Again, remember, every non-basic makes Fire Blast worse. Makes you more weaker to, what's it called? Wasteland. Goblin Guide and Get to Lava Runner? I would rather run Soulscar Mage than Get to Lava Runner. Mareep, you're dead. Alright, you drew 7 cards. You're dead now. Now what? Now what you do? You're just dead. Okay, so 1 or 2 Sunbay Canyons? Maybe 1. Maybe 1. Maybe 1 Sunbay Canyon. At this point, is it worth it to play Fire Blast? You know, I always wondered that. Is this deck better off with like 3 Fire Blast? Because if you draw 2, it sucks. And 4, you play 4 of a card to try to get more than 1 in your hand. But if you have 3 in the deck, you're more likely to find only 1 per game. Like, having 2 Fire Blasts are really bad. But I still think Fire Blast should be in the deck because the moment you try to go for a turn 3 kill, and your turn 3 kills involve Fire Blast. What's the difference between Legacy and Modern? Legacy plays with more sets. Legacy plays with all the sets. Modern is only like 8th edition and up. Yeah, maybe we play with 3 Fire Blasts and an extra Skull Crack or something. Question, not advice. Is Fire Blast, Elemental Blast mandatory in main board Legacy Burn against counterspells? Example, Force of Will? I would say no. I mean, Force of Will is only a problem if your opponent is tempoing you out, because Force of Will it's a 2-for-1 still. So fighting their 2-for-1 with your own, like, you might as well just have another burn spell, is what I'm getting at. If they Force of Will your Lightning Bolt, just play another Lightning Bolt. Let them 2-for-1 themselves. Javier, I have an idea for video Nikachu. How do you mulligan? I always have that question. Do you force a mulligan if you are looking for a certain answer in your deck? I have made some videos on this, but it was very Merfolk specific. You really have to ask yourself, like, do you have a chance? I mean, if you're talking about certain answer in your deck, you gotta ask yourself, do you have a chance of winning this game with a generic 7, or do you need your sideboard cards? If you need your sideboard cards, you might as well, like, take a chance in mulligan. Because you would know from the matchup that your matchup might suck, and like, a regular hand cannot beat a regular hand from your opponent. Especially if it's a combo matchup. Always mulligan 1 land and 6 land hands? I don't always mulligan 1 land hands. If I'm on the draw versus a Thoughtseize deck, I keep a lot of 1 land hands. Let them Thoughtseize away. Light up the stage might not be too slow. Well, maybe it is too slow. Like, remember, you don't really want to grind with this deck. Like the deck is pretty slow in general. There's just nothing we could do about it. Okay, so our advice. We'll take out 1 mountain, 1 Sunbay Canyon. We'll take out 1 Fire Blast, add a Skull Crack. I guess that's it. Do you have an editor for your videos, or do you do all the editing? I have an editor for some of my videos. They help out with the editing. And then in addition to that, I still edit. But I have an editor to help out with the editing. One thing that this deck could play is what's the uncounterable burn spell? There is one burn spell that's uncounterable. Well, they're both the same thing in this deck. Sunbaked Canyon and Fiery Islet are the same thing. There's one burn spell that, like, is uncounterable. What is it? Exquisite Firecraft. I wouldn't mind some copies. It's like 3 mana. So, like, this card is a really good way to finish the opponent off. You can have, like, 2 of these in the sideboard. Or maybe we even have 2 of them in the main deck. Like, it's 3 mana for 4 damage. Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it can't be countered by spells or abilities. So you could have 2 of these in the sideboard somewhere. Or maybe, when we took out the Fire Blast, we can take out the Sonic Burst and add this thing as well. It's a bit clunky at 3 mana, but you don't have to play it immediately. And against the decks with counter spells, it'll be fine anyway. Because the game will go a little while anyway. Yeah, no Goblin Guide in this deck. It could be in here. It could. No, Unholy Heat is not good in a burn deck. All the burn spells have to go to the face. If it's not going to the face, it's no good. You know what? I wouldn't play Ragavan in this deck, but I might play Dragon Rage Chandler. Because Dragon Rage Chandler can help keep the gas coming. So now it makes me think, what do we get rid of for Dragon Rage Chandler? Maybe we take out instead Fire Blast, Sonic Burst, Skull Crack, and... maybe we take out 2 Fire Blasts for the Dragon Rage Chandler. Maybe that'd be good. Maybe that's a good way to upgrade this thing. No, we don't need any rituals in a burn deck. Every card matters. Oh, but the problem with Dragon Rage Chandler is then, like, it's very hard to get the Delirium online. Okay, so I can't play. Yeah, we need Bauble. Okay, so I'm going to dump it. I'm going to dump it. No. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. So I'm just going to stand by my what I said earlier. Well, that's going to be it for today for Coffee and MTG. Oh my god, we're going over time. You guys are lucky. You guys are lucky today. If I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck list, hey, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you love Coffee and MTG, you want to support the channel, you can drop a sub at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. You can become a patron at patreon.com/Nikachu MTG, or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. Hopefully you learned something about mana weaving and learned something about Magic the Gathering advertising. So keep brewing up those coffees, ladies and gentlemen, and we will keep brewing up the magic.